Employment and Labour Minister Thulas Nxesi has accused the business sector of fueling tension between South Africans and foreigners by giving immigrants low-income jobs. Speaking at the NEDLAC annual summit taking place in Sandton, the minister added that government is also to blame for the porous borders, but representatives from government, Labour and business are attending that summit. No, but they're needed. But anyway, let's bring in our reporter, Moloko Moloto, who's been tracking that gathering for us. And Moloko, the minister saying that business needs to take responsibility for the hiring of foreign nationals at the expense of South Africans in these low-income categories. But to what extent, then, is government taking responsibility for what is essentially a battle for resources?
Hello, Tembegile Mkhototo. Well, unemployment remains a sore point in this country. We know that it's standing at about 29%, one of the highest in the world, and even with government's efforts to reduce it. Remember that the National Development Plan says that by 2020, unemployment should be at around 14%, and at least by 2030 it should be at 6%. So all indications are showing that perhaps that may not even be attained. And now, as a result, today the minister, when he was addressing delegates here at the NEDLAC summit, he said that the thorough analysis of the recent xenophobic, so-called xenophobic attacks, as he called them, really can be located partly at the fact that businesses consider hiring the foreign nationals, particularly in restaurants and even in retail shops or in companies that are paying low wages. And he says that obviously that is just increasing tensions between locals and South Africans and foreign nationals. Let's listen to the minister addressing the delegates here.
The problem is poor governance and corruption in many of our African countries, which our leaders do not talk about those issues. And those are the push factors for a number of their citizens to land here. You can't be saying Zimbabwe at some stage was an economic basket of SADC, but now it's totally destroyed. We don't want to talk about those issues. We know what happened to the workers. So the matter is complex, but it needs the leadership which is going to confront these issues in the various international forums. Some of the despots are able now to insult South Africa, that we must cower in and be afraid to be assertive on some of the issues. They are not talking about why are their citizens moving away from their countries. But still, violence is no solution. As much as we are South Africans, we are also Africans, and we are internationalists.
Moloko, this NEDLAC summit takes place against a backdrop of the looming retrenchments at Sibanye Stillwater. We've got the banking sector facing a labour uprising, essentially. You've got transport recently with Metro Bus, SAA pilots now also saying they could possibly go on strike. Is there an acknowledgement from not only Minister Nxesi but the unions themselves and business that we are indeed facing a crisis? In fact, we're in the midst of a crisis.
Well, you will remember, Temegile, that a few weeks back, the president, when he was addressing a Fourth Industrial Revolution Summit at the University of Johannesburg, he said that South Africans, as well as other people in other parts of the world, should expect a hemorrhage of jobs, a bloodbath of jobs as a result of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, also factors such as globalization. And he did also reiterate that yesterday when he was addressing a SATU National Congress, to say that the Fourth Industrial Revolution is here, and some of the jobs which are existing now may not even exist perhaps in the next 20 years. And it's an acknowledgement that was even made in this summit to say that the Fourth Industrial Revolution as much as it is bringing with it negatives and disadvantages, replacing human beings with machines, but there needs to be, according to the Minister of Labour, as South Africans we must engage in a lifelong learning process in order to sharpen our skill set so that we can be relevant for this future that is just on our doorstep. And that is also an acknowledgement that was made by Labour through COSATU's General Secretary Bekinja Alinjali, who admitted that at this point in time there's no need to insult this fourth industrial revolution. However, Labour also voiced its concern at the fact that as much as the investment summit and job summits that were held last year by the President gave South Africans hope, the problem is that in the midst of these retrenchments that are happening, they don't know what they must tell their workers or their members at this stage.
All right, ENC reporter Moloko Moloto, live for us in Sandton. Thank you.